If you want a result like this trading ICT Kill Zones, then you need to learn every single thing you see here. Starting from number 1, what is ICT Kill Zone? ICT Kill Zones are basically time periods in the market whereby the market is very volatile, and they are in 3 numbers, which is literally London session, New York session, and Asian section. That said, for the indicator, you want to go to this point here. That's where you see the indicator icon, so you click on it and then search for ICT Kill Zones, and it's going to have this stuff there, and it's going to end with this stuff there. So when you see it, you click on it, and then you want to change 5 stop. And for number 1, daily session limit, this is basically how many times a session column would show. Like if you change this 10 to 3 and you go on your charts, you will see that this stuff only showed 3 times, and then if you go past that 3 times, you are not going to like see anything. Number 2, time frame limit. This shows the max time frame this indicator would show on. So if you set it at 1 hour max and switch to 4 hour, you will not see anything. While for number 3, you want to change the GMT to -4, and also don't only change it on the indicator. Instead, you want to go to the chart, hold this point there, and then it's going to bring something like time zone. So you want to click on it and scroll down, then look for -4 again and set it. And for number 4, you want to confirm the time and make sure every single time on your chart is exactly like this. And don't forget to toggle on this show kill zone box, and then toggle off these 2 options there. But for the last step, what you want to do is you want to like make the color different. So you want to go to that side there and you want to change the color to whatever color you want. So after doing that, now it's time for you to trade. So how do you trade Kill Zone strategies? To trade Kill Zone strategy, you need to understand what happens on every session on Kill Zone. Like for this Asian session, every time an Asian session pops up, price tend to trend every Kill Zone hour. This is 1 time in trend. This is the 2nd time in trend. This is the 3rd time it still followed the trending pattern, and this is the 4th time. That is literally it. So what you want to do is you want to capitalize off this trending on Asian session. While for London session, anytime London session opens, price tend to reverse. That's literally it. So you want to be looking for entries, which I'm going to teach you to capitalize on this. So this is here another example whereby it reverse, and here is the 3rd example whereby it reverses. So that's Asian and London session. For New York session, anytime New York session open, price tend to sweep and then trend. This is one example where it does that. This is another example where price does that, and this is another example where price does that. That said, now you want to combine those knowledge with 13 PDRS. So I went to my chart there, hit the stop, and then went back to H4 time frame to explain the PDRA I use. So this is basically New York session, and from what I explained in the past, whenever there's a New York session, this is when I was setting my target. Whenever there's a New York session, price tends to like liquidate the low, which is going to give you a sweep, and then after the sweep it's going to trend. So basically that is the sweep there, and what we're expecting is for price to trend all the way to that first target there or that 2nd target there. That's why I was marking those points there. Then spotted the 2nd confluence, which is what we call BBB strategy. The first B starts for body, the 2nd B starts for beast, and the 3rd B starts for bounce. So body beast bounce is essentially when you mark out the body of a candle, not the top or the wicks. You mark out the body of the candle only, then wait for price to liquidate the body of the candle. It must take out the wicks. That wicks must go out. It's not as if you don't want to wait for price to like take out only the body and then come down. It must take out the wicks also, and then when it takes out the body and the wick, you want to wait for price to take out the low also. That's it. Double liquidation of the candle. And then when price takes out the low too, then you want to wait for price to go back up, then come back to that candle that it just liquidated the lows and the high, and then you can choose to like enter at 50%, 100% of the candle, of the body of the candle, not of the full candle, of the body of the candle, and then target higher prices, which is what I did. I waited for price to take out the high of the body of that candle, then the low of the body of that candle, and then when price came back, I was expecting price to like retest at this point there, which is why I entered that buy position. Then go to low H1 time frame and use inverse imbalance bounce, which is the third strategy. So basically how this strategy work is that like you want to mark the imbalance there, which is 1, 2, and basically what you want to do is you want to wait for price to like bounce on that imbalance and then go up. That's it. Then I drop down to 30-minute time frame. I use 3-step jackpot confluence. That's the fourth strategy. So basically how this confluence work is that price will give you a consolidation. Like you can see that price was taken out there, then it consolidates, and then there was an expansion. So price will go up first, consolidate, then expand, and then after expanding, if it gives you 1, 2, 3 candle after price liquidates that consolidation, price tends to, on lower time frame, which is 15-minute time frame, reject on the previous candle or the nearest PDRAs after the breakout, which you want to mark the 50% of, because whenever price retests at that point like this, it tends to go up and it doesn't come down for a long time. And then after that 5 confluence, I wanted to use the last confluence on 1-minute time frame. So you can see that I was in loss here, and then if you go to 1-minute time frame, you can see that my entry was almost getting invalidated and was staying huge red here, literally. But a sniper entry we hold regardless of this. So I was looking for more confirmation, and I saw another confirmation to spam more entries there, which was literally because of that inverse fair value gap confluence there. So that's literally it. Price went up, liquidated the fair value gap, and then came back down to like retest on it. So I was like, okay, we're gonna ride the buys, and you can see how the volatility started to like pick up at this moment in time. You know that you've gotten a good entry when this kind of stuff happens. And then just few minutes after, I was in decent profit here, but I wanted more, so I waited for it to get to 10x, and then I closed at this point. And I decided to scalp gold again because I was seeing something like 20x coming. And the next trade, which is on GBPUSD, which I'll explain soon, the PO I haven't gotten there, price action I haven't gotten there, so I wanted to scalp gold before it gets there. And my first confluence for like the first reason why I entered this good entry is what we call a opposition block liquidation. So what happened is that you want to mark a breaker block or another block, and then when price like when you have markets like what I did here, when price wants to like take it out a bit, what you want to do is you want to stack position on it. Like this breaker block, you can see that when price liquidated that green line there at the tip there, I started buying as soon as price liquidated. That's it. That's literally it. And then I used another confluence which I call FEG break and retest. That's it. So basically how this stuff works is that you want to mark the FEG and then wait for price to like give you a slight retest on that FEG, and then you buy at the breakout. It is very simple. And then I finalized everything on 5-minute time frame. So I went down to 5-minute time frame and I spotted the FEG around that point there. And if you look carefully, after marking the FEG, you can see that price snubbed the supply zone, a bit demand zone below. That's how the game is. That's why you need to choose your confluence and stick to it, because most of the time price is going to respect one and it's not going to respect another one. So basically if you look at this point there, I was in like small shallow profits there, but I was still patient at this point in time. And then after some time I was already up about more than 10x in this moment in time. And then this was when I like closed on my position and I was at $800. And then I went to another time zone, which is on London session. I've been trading New York session for a while now. So for this London session schematic there, I was selling and I was in huge loss at this point in time, but my confidence were intact. So basically the first reason I sold was because I was expecting a fair value gap breakout there. You can see I marked the that point there, and then the second point I marked was that point there. And you can see that the entry was literally at almost next to like 70% of that FEG. So you don't want to be entering around 50%. You want to be entering when the breakout has happened, or if you are late, you want to enter around 70% of the FEG breakout. That's it, 70% of it. And then that's just one confluence. The second confluence was when I dropped to 5-minute time frame. I was seeing something like a break and retest at that point there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 retest here. So basically my entry was literally at the breakout of the breakout. And the 10th reason why I sold at that point is because I saw a double Quasimodo, which is basically you marking the low and that low there, then the high and that higher high there. It's very simple. And then I saw the same schematic below that point there, and what did I do? I marked the same stuff, and that's literally a very good confirmation considering the fact that price rejected from the first one. So we want to expect price to reject from the second one. That's literally it. It's very simple. And as you can see, this was the before, and then this is the after, literally insane profit. So this is when you want to close, and then when you close, you move to the next trade. And I was buying at this point because of number 11. I was seeing volume imbalance at that point there, and whenever there is a volume imbalance, but first let me mark it out. Whenever there is a volume imbalance, price tends to go up because it's acting like a magnet. And then for the number 12 strategy, I saw a PDRA on lower time frame, which is another block there. That's it. So I marked it, and I was still in like huge loss there, almost losing like 20% of my profit at this moment in time. But the profit was worth it. So another conference I got, which is the 13th conference, was on 5-minute time frame. You can see how price was like respecting that tiny fair value gap at that point there. That was one of my very good entry, which when I combine with this 14th confirmation there, which is that support zone there, made me unstoppable. And then when I got it, you can see price was already like going up very fast, and that was when I went to HCF and saw my confirmation, which is what we call kissing candles. And basically this is when two candles overlap between each other, but they have like the opposite color. It cannot be like green overlapping. It must be red, green, and then red overlapping. That's literally my 10th confirmation. And at this moment in time, I wasn't like satisfied with this pony stuff here. You know, this is just only 4k and it's nothing. So I went to like wait for price to like liquidate or slightly liquidate that high there, and then when it was liquidating that point there, you can see I was hitting it there at the third candle. I've already explained this confirmation before. The third candle is where the retest comes to play, and then I was just hitting it. And if you look at this point there, I was still not in good profit there, but after some time I was in deep loss there. You can see the red was booming. Like at this moment in time, most people would be giving up, but I kept pushing, and then boom, you can see it all paid off. I lost balance, but at least I got my target. So if you got value from this video, like, sub, and if you want your account managed like this, click link in description, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.